Hey guys, it's Deb and Vance back for Training Tuesday. One of the questions I get very frequently is how do I stop my dog from jumping on guests that are arriving to my front door? When we're talking about door greetings, there's a couple of different factors that we need to consider. First off, do we want to try to train the dog a new behavior, or do we simply want to manage the situation so the dog doesn't have an opportunity to jump on the guests? I recommend you have both in your toolbox. When I talk about manage the situation, essentially what I'm talking about is keeping the dog from making a mistake. Now for Vance, it's handy because his crate is right here next to the door. If my doorbell's able to go off and I'm not able to train him at that point, I can just ask him for kennel. Vance, kennel. Yes. Great problems. So at this point, I'm able to greet my guest and not have my dog have an opportunity to make mistakes. Here's the key to remember. Dogs go on patterns. Dogs learn patterns very, very quickly. And so a lot of dogs learn the pattern, doorbell equals excitement, excitement equals new person. New person's gonna greet me and get me all excited, then they're gonna reciprocate with that same level of excitement. So in order to train our dog to not jump on our guests, we need to give them a new pattern of what happens when we go to the door. If you're like me, I don't get a whole lot of guests except for the UPS guy. So I will need to go throughout my day and make it a point to teach Vance how I want for him to greet someone at the door. All right, come here, buddy. Good boy. One of the tips that I recommend is next to your door, keep a lead. That way, when we are walking to our door, I personally just like a slip kennel lead. You can also just use a regular leash, but the point is we need to have control of our dog. We need for them to learn to approach the door in a controlled manner, to sit and stay as we open the door. And we need to do this before we have any guests come over, so that way the dog learns this is the pattern of what we do when we go to the door. That way when we introduce the X component of having new people come over, the dog already knows what behavior is expected of him. So here's how we're gonna teach this. I've got my lead on my dog. 5 or 6 times during the day, we're just gonna walk up to the door. We're gonna practice a sit, stay a few feet back away from the door. We're gonna open the door. We're gonna treat the dog. We'll shut the door and then we'll release. Vance, let's go. Vance, sit. Good, stay. Now I'm gonna have my dog in the position. I'm gonna open the door. And here's the great thing. Nothing exciting is happening. So I am able to get a really good repetition. I'm gonna treat and reward on letting him know what behavior I want. So once we can do this a few times, we're gonna take it to the next step, stay. So as we have him in a sit stay, I'm gonna work a little further away. Good boy, stay. I'm gonna come back and reward. I'm gonna move away, stay. I'm gonna come back and reward. Stay. I'm gonna go through and I will open the door. Stay. Good boy. Come back. Reward. This is the pattern that we want to develop with the dog. No matter what is happening on the other side of the door, I want for him to be in a stay approximately 5 or 6 feet back away from the door. Now, why do I want him back? Because if he breaks, I want to have an opportunity to body block him so he doesn't go flying out the door when I go to get my pizza. So what we're going to do is just continue to practice that. Release. Yay! Good boy. All right, Vance, let's go. Sit. Good. Stay. I do give a nice hand signal for stay. We'll cover hand signals later on. We're going to open the door. After I open the door, I'm going to go ahead and treat. I'm going to ask for another stay. I'm going to move away from the dog. Good boy, stay. I'm going to come back, treat and reward. Breaking this down into little pieces, stay. Practice opening the door. Now taking one more step outside. Maybe I'm going to get the mail. Good boy, stay. Come back in. This is the behavior that I want. You cannot get a dog to expect to not jump up on a guest if they don't know what behavior is expected of them. And they don't know what behavior is expected of them if we're only training at those high excitement times when grandma's coming over. We don't have time to train at that point. That's when we need to manage the situation of putting the dog in the crate, putting the dog in a back room. Once we've had our guests come in, then we can introduce the dog on leash. So I strongly encourage you to look at times of training versus times of management. And when you are doing your training time, just practice this. If you practice this 5 to 10 times a day, it takes you 5 minutes. And how impressed are your friends going to be next time they come over and you've got your well-mannered pet sitting right here, ready to greet them, versus a 65-pound ball of Labrador jumping all over them. So hopefully this was a beneficial training video for you guys. Please feel free to post comments below, or if you have suggestions on other training tips that you would like to receive, I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks so much and have a great evening.